Chris? Chris? Are you still sleeping? It's midday. You have to go to work. This ought to do the trick.
I punted so hard this entire game.
Myself.
You've got 10 seconds and then I'm flicking to thanks.
Ah, shit, fuck! Oh god, shit.
He's finally going all in, and I don't know how to handle this. Hola. If I'm here, when I look here, I am looking at you. But it doesn't really matter. We only really record the video.
I can move this down a little bit for you.
You should be fine. Hopefully we sound alright. People, do we sound alright? You tell me. I'm not going to interact with you a lot, but look, if you're there, let's help.
If you are there, then take the hit. Where's my news? I had a news channel.
News channel. We do have a news channel. Dreams and Dreams.
Okay, here we go.
Can we announce the new location in Queensland?
Not yet. We have to run that past Kato.
Like,
For the only reason that, you slapping Kato's name on it.
perhaps. Oh, there's new spoilers for Secret Lair.
The Black is Magic one.
No, sorry, this Time Spiral. I haven't seen these.
Yeah. I figured we could talk about that a little bit today as well, but I've written that under Time Spiral Remastered. Yeah, I don't have a lot of new news about board games this week.
That's all right.
Or last week, for that matter. There's a new Batman Dark Knight Returns announced on Kickstarter, and it shouldn't meet its goal, but it will.
What is something worth? Oh wait, I just realized I wasn't looking at Director General. There we go. Benny full head. Okay, alright. We'll just go with this. Be good enough.
Yeah, I think we're gonna spend enough time on it.
Maybe not. Maybe it's a short one. Maybe we're just over it. Who knows? So I'm gonna do the intro video, and you're gonna be quiet.
All right, I'm gonna follow your lead.
Alright, hello and welcome to episode 5 of the GameStop podcast. My name is Chris.
My name's Benny.
And we like cards.
More than we ever should.
Benny, what are we talking about today? What's the deal?
So after our 1 week hiatus there, apologies for everyone, we're going to pick up where we left off. We're going to talk about Secret Lair. The Secret Lairs as a whole, as you will.
Ooh, I love that movie.
The movie Secret Lairs?
Yeah. Is that a movie, right?
I hope so.
You're talking about the magic thing, aren't you?
Yeah. Yeah, of course we are. Of course we are.
That's not what I was hoping for.
Yeah, fair enough. I think it's worth talking about, though.
I think it's a conversation to have. I think we'll do that in a second. But first and foremost, we have news.
Our favorite part, yes, our favorite part, the news. I love news.
I think Benny, you mentioned like this was becoming your favorite part, and I can see why. Because now that I have to do this every week, or we did have a hiatus, at least I know what's happening. and I can keep track of things.
I like it. It gives myself and you, like whether you know it or not, just a chance to recap the week and talk about some of the news that you might have found, even if you're like doom scrolling on Facebook. And for the style of news that you and I consume, it wasn't affected by Facebook banning the news.
Oh, Facebook. For anyone who doesn't know, it's just in Australia, right? All news.
Yeah, and it's over now as well.
And it's over. Okay. For a little bit, all news outlets were prohibited in Facebook for Australians.
Yep.
Anyway. All right, so let's do the news. Quick news. If you haven't seen, there was a new ban and restricted announcement in Magic. I know this is probably a week old now, but it's still important to note. Uro got banned probably in everything that was relevant. Oko was banned in Legacy finally.
Same with Arkham's Astrolabe. Simian Spirit Guide got banned in Modern.
Finally.
Do you reckon finally? I guess you know what? I'm not even going to argue that one because I know the card existed just to enable dumb strategies, but I always found it being played fairly more often than I found it played unfairly.
I disagree. I feel like anything that gives you free mana like that with really no downside, it's playing a different sort of game that Modern didn't really need.
And I guess that's why Manamorphose is okay. Just draws you a card, doesn't give you free mana.
It changes the colors, right? So it helps you a little bit. But look, that's fine. That's legal. That stays there. I think Omnath also got banned from something else. Who knows?
Yep. From Pioneer, everyone's beloved format that has been kicked to the curb quite hard.
Oh, you mean
Let's just briefly go over all of them in order. Historic, Omnath, Locus of Creation, and Uro they were both banned. Omnath was suspended and then it was moved to banned. Pioneer saw Balustrade Spy, Teferi Time Raveler, Undercity Informer, Uro, and Wilderness Reclamation banned. Wilderness Reclamation was preemptively banned there because of the combo decks getting hit, Uro decks getting hit, and Teferi was banned part of that because Teferi could answer Wilderness Rec, but they would become the two most prevalent decks, and they just went, screw it, let's just ban both of them. In Modern, they banned Field of the Dead, Mystic Sanctuary, Simian Spirit Guide, Tybalt's Trickery, and Uro. Fun fact, one of those cards is a common. Legacy saw Arkham's Astrolabe, Dreadhorde Arcanist, and Oko Thief of Crowns. I was a bit sad to see Dreadhorde Arcanist get banned, but again, it was a preemptive banning. And then in Vintage, Lurus of the Dream Den got unbanned.
Ooh. Wait, to be fair, Lurus with the new companion thing changing the cost.
Like Lurus got spayed. It's all good.
I think also worth noting is that they mentioned a dead format, Pioneer, which I'm very sad to say it's a dead format, and they also announced a new format to immediately replace it. What was it? Gladiator?
They haven't announced that. That is still very much a community-made format.
Right.
No, I was going to say that the most prevalent thing to take away from this banning was also a rules change. Cascade no longer hits a... You can't cascade into a spell and then choose the side of a card. You have to choose the side with lower CMC. So it was to help the Tybalt problem that was happening.
Woo! Well, I'm glad they saw at least that bit of it, because to be fair, it wasn't just the Tybalt bit. There was other examples of things like that you would inevitably have used.
You and I were doing a bit of research into this, and when I told you could cascade into a Throne of Eldraine adventure and then cast the adventure, you were like, what?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Alright, moving on. Other news. Pokemon Shining Fates, the new hottest set for Pokemon, was delayed yet again for Australians. So we can wait until end of March to get a bit of it, and then April, maybe mid-April, to get like the cool tints and whatnot. I believe the rest of the world either has a bit of it or a lot of it already out. So if you want your shiny Pokemons, do not buy from scalpers, which is my number one recommendation. There's a lot of really expensive stuff. I think Benny has seen some really crazy elite boxes out there.
Yep. Just to add to that as well, in America and in some places up in Queensland, I have seen some game stores actually report on people coming in with stock that they've gotten a hold of, whether it was through big box stores or just overseas shipments and stuff like that, stuff where we're not allowed to actually import from, and actually try to sell them to the stores at a marked up price. So they've actually started targeting the stores themselves.
Which is crazy. Like you're talking about individuals who are getting stock from the supplier that you and I would get, then boldly go, all right, I got this stuff. You know what? The game shop that I used to buy things from probably doesn't have any because I have it now. Let's go to them and send for $1 more expensive. And they have to cave because they have their own customers.
Yep.
That's nuts.
Which just pushes the price higher for everyone else because, anyway.
Yeah. Just again, what's fascinating, I think you mentioned it, Conor McGregor is also playing Pokemon now, or like at least collecting it.
The latest announcement of the three main people was Conor McGregor, the country rapper dude, I can't remember his name ever.
Post Malone?
Oh yeah, Post Malone and someone else.
Katy Perry.
Katy Perry, yeah. They've come out going like, I love Pokemon, here's my Pokemon collection and my thing, and it's blowing me away.
It's nuts. What's really good is that at least we're for people who want to play the games, a bunch of cards that cost nothing. So as soon as we have a place where you can actually play Pokemon, let's go nuts. For a little bit of me, like I like collecting things, so it's hard for me not to see a Pokemon especially and not want to collect it. So it's a bit hard for me to actually find fun things to crack.
Yeah,
because a lot of people
got confirmation today that Pokemon stock's coming, and the boss sent us a message going like, "Do we still want this?" And Chris was like, "Yes,
let's get it." Vivid Voltage, Dragons in Place. We're getting our stuff finally. It took us a good 6 months.
Yep. This is the first time they've actually been restocked.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. On other news, talking about restock, Time Spiral, the newest set for Magic, was due to release in about 3 weeks' time from the date of this podcast.
Yep.
We just heard news that it's probably, most likely, 100% not going to be reprinted, or at least if it is, in no significant quantities. So if you do want to get your box from anywhere, or you want to just get those cards, make sure you do pre-order those from whatever your local game store is. For instance, gamestopware.com.au. If you do want to get them, but
we'll be opening a box live on stream.
Yeah, but the point being is that there's not going to be a lot of these cards moving around, or maybe not as many as you hope. Yeah. And unfortunately, it is very hard to get your hands on stock right now.
Yeah. Not only is the stock again been shortchanged, with allocations coming in after the fact, well underneath what distributors had expected or even been confirmed originally, but the fact that they have already been warned that there is unlikely to be another reprint, or just not another reprint of this product, I can confidently say to you guys, this is something that is going to be fine sitting on your shelf, or even if you just get it, draft it, put the cards in a binder.
It's going to be expensive.
Trade them off.
Cards out of this, no matter what, are going to be expensive. The box itself sealed, it's going to be expensive. So if you have some money to buy a thing now, and you think this will be interesting to you to draft later on, or something you think will hold value, I could already tell you this. So go nuts, have fun with that.
Collectors, fun people, and also there's only one version of this product. You don't have to worry about set booster boxes or anything. You just draft booster boxes, go. That's it. You don't worry about the other versions. It's not happening this time.
So far, maybe we get a secret announcement later on.
And just while we're on this as well, because I don't want to bring this up while we're talking about Secret Lairs, we actually just got a few spoilers today, an hour ago.
Woo!
Some of the old border cards. I didn't realize this, but they're going to old border new art. So the Restoration Angel has never seen that old border, but it looks fantastic.
So there's a Restoration Angel, is what you're telling me?
There is a Restoration Angel. Banishing Light in the old border. Looks pretty. Looks real pretty.
Yeah, so I look forward to this. I think we were making a few predictions of what we expect. I think my expectation was, I forgot now, damn it. Karn. I hope Karn gets reprinted in an old border.
You want to see a Planeswalker in an old border?
Look, I can see that happening. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen on this.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
It would be wild. It'd be real rare.
Well, moving on, all local announcements. WizKids has a paint line.
They've announced that they're going to make one.
Yeah, so basically that's what I meant. So the WizKids, who, as you know, are the company that release all the little figurines that we use for D&D, and so I learned the other day for Pathfinder as well. They are also now going to do a paints line. So like kind of like Citadel or
Actually, Citadel is a very good reference here, because they have confirmed that they'll be using trademarked Dungeons and Dragon words and stylizing to like identify these paints.
so there you go.
They're going to be a lot like they're going to be a lot like Citadel paints.
There you go. Good quality stuff. All right, I think that's sort of it for the news segment. Quick little short one there. And now, without further ado, the important stuff, the topic. With this time we only have one topic because we knew we were probably going to be spending a bit of time on this one. So there's no secret topic. It's only a secret layer.
And I'd like to point out in our notes here, I've written secret layer / debate. Now, Chris and I are very keen to actually just have a debate for this, but I keep coming back to the problem that I don't think we can have a structured debate because I find neither of us really for or against in a good enough manner to have a debate. Like, I guess we could have done the trope where you pull a topic and you're either for or against, but that would have been miserable for one of us.
I was happy to do that, Benny. I would have done it. Like, I've done debates in my life. I'm happy to bullshit my way through and win. That's okay.
Yeah, but I think we can still have a debate. I'm not going to pull any punches, and I'm going to bring up any points that I think are valid, and I know for a fact you will as well. We're going to have a good conversation about this. But for what we've got here, I believe you're going to lead us off with what is a secret lair. Give us a bit of insight into what a secret lair is, because I think everyone at this point listening will either know, or this will be a good foundation for the next few key points that we have.
So I think that's very important. So we're going to discuss what a secret lair is, and in essence, it's a little box that you can purchase online from Wizards of the Coast that has between 5 to 7 cards, sometimes 3, sometimes 4, right? And the price we'll talk about later ranges from a variety, but the important thing is I think it's worth noting the history of this product. The very new product, the earliest iteration came in end of 2019, October, November, and it's the first product, sort of, that was released directly from sales from Wizards. So a little bit before Secret Lair, just a tiny bit, like 2018, they released this really cool special edition thing you could get in War of the Spark, Ravnica Legions, and Guilds of Ravnica, which was the Mythic Edition. I don't know if you remember that one, Benny.
Yep.
So that wasn't basically you pay like 150 or something like that. Plus, you would still get a box of whatever the set was. Plus, you would get a bunch of cool foils like an Aldard Teferi, Aldard Liliana, whatever, right? And those went for you can look them up, Benny. They're crazy expensive. Way more than.
I passed on them. They didn't actually come with a box of boosters. They came with a draft set.
Correct. So this is where a few things begin. So this was the first time Wizards directly sold something. To be fair, some stores had the option of getting a few, but it was mainly an online portal thing where you could buy this product. Right? This very specialized, very shiny, weird thing that not everyone could afford, that it wasn't for everyone to buy, and that had a bunch of issues. A, the online portal to buy this crashed every time. B, a lot of people would payment would go through and they would actually not receive their product. To the point that in the World of Spark version, they actually gave away, what was it? An uncut sheet as an apology for a lot of this crap. To everyone who ordered one, even if you didn't get it, right? So, but it was the first time, right? Or the very best example of them directly selling something that a lot of people wouldn't get otherwise. This failed in one shape or form, but it is, in my opinion, what gave birth to this direct sales policy. Like, well, if we can sell this very special product, which is in essence a box plus single foils, why can't we just skip the box bit and just do the single foils?
Yep.
And this is where Secret Lair sort of, comes to birth, where you can buy a themed, right, sort of a special edition shiny thing, sometimes not shiny. So far, we've had 40 come out. Now, I want you to understand that this is from end of 2019, we're at the start of 2021, so it hasn't been 2 years yet. Right? It may look like it's been 2 years, but it hasn't. Not quite.
Yeah, been a year.
Maybe a year and a half max, right? And we've had 40 of these. And we'll talk about why that's perhaps an issue. But in these 40, there's been a variety of ones. There's been a fairy one, Bitter Blossom one, where you have the card Bitter Blossom and 4 tokens. You've had lands. There's been like Godzilla series, for example. There's been a Snow Forest one. There's been one themed by art. And that's something I want to bring up as one of the cool things. What Secret Lair offers is that that ability to do something a bit more creative. Right, Benny? So, for example, if I came to you, Benny, as shop owners, like, hey, Benny, there's this weird niche small product that we're not sure how many you're gonna sell, but do you want to buy into it? You're probably gonna say no.
Yeah.
And the model here is that all shops can't really afford to buy this thing. Let's just do it ourselves. That's how you get some cool like graveyard art, some cool Serum Visions. I think Benny, you have one of those, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And that's how it sort of started, right? And there was no pressure. There's no pressure in buying these. Like it's online, except that there's a time limit. The first ones that came out, you could only buy like one of these boxes a day. There's like 7 of them. It's called what is it? A big drop?
Super drop.
Super drop, right? So you could buy the super drop, but you would only buy each of the individual ones for 24 hours. And since then, it's always been like a period. And if you look at it just like that, okay, so you can buy some cool art cards. They allow you to experiment with some alt art stuff. You don't really have to buy it. Like Benny and I are not, because they're not part of any set. There's no pressure to buying it, right? That's how it. Yeah. That's how it sort of was prompted to us. And Benny bought the Serum Visions one. I was very close to buying. I think there was a Goblins one, which looked cute.
Yep.
And just stopping at that, I think that's a cool product, right, Benny?
Yeah. Yeah, it was originally, I believe I remember talking to you about this. It was just a really a cute idea, if you will. Something that offers really short and concise reprints that wasn't out of reach for your average customer. In which case, I think the Seeing Visions or Serum Visions one that I got, I really, really liked the art. I fell in love with the art. I loved that it was a play set, and it was this thing that I could add to my collection of Magic that I have. It still sits on my shelf, but I could see myself playing it if I ever wanted to. But at that point, it was this cool little thing, and I believe it was 20 US as well.
Yeah. So in terms of pricing, that's a good point. Basically, these at start ranged, and to this date, they range mainly between $30 to $50. USD, sorry. So, double Australian. Yeah. And if you just take it from that point of view, it is a really cool thing. And after this we'll talk a bit about the bad things, but I want to keep in mind that if it was just this, it's a cool thing, and because it's a low volume thing, it allows us to sort of do a lot of cool fun things, as long as it remains as cool fun things. The important part that I think is worth noting is once they start printing cards that are not just for the sake of having cool art, but for a secondary intention, that's where I find an issue. The real issue for me is that we have something that's a big no-no in manufacturing, which is having the manufacturing directly sell its product when it has a supply chain line.
Yeah. And
when the excuse is, well, we don't want to affect our supply chain line because we have this really niche product that will actually just hinder you. Okay, you know what? I understand that, right? I'm not gonna be buying the Serum Visions, 10 of them, because I have no idea who wants that crap. Yeah. And it's already hard to gamble. And keep in mind, again, 40 of these have come out in less than 2 years, so no shop could have bought these and tried to stock them. So that's fine. But when you have something that sort of delves into the secondary market, right, which is something that when you're manufacturing a collectible, that's not really your ballpark. That's when I see a bigger issue, right? So this is pointing out to the fact that I stated before. Most of these cost between $30 to $50. You can either pick for a lot of them to buy the foil version or the non-foil version, which have their own issues. We'll discuss that in a bit. And there was one exception to the rule, one big one. There's a few actually. This was the Ultimate Secret Lair, which featured 5 cards. Again, although these only feature between 4 to 7 cards, so still in line. There were lands. Okay, we featured lands before. That's okay. There were reprints. Okay, reprints. That's okay. They had cool art. Okay, that's okay. There were fetch lands. That's really good. People love fetch lands. It costed $400 USD.
Yeah.
Why?
Because there were fetch lands.
Exactly. So when you're the manufacturing of a collectible, you cannot put more value on the same product. Because it is, in the eyes of Wizards, it should be, but it clearly is not, 5 prints of cardboard, which should not be worth more to create than 5 alternate art lands. You could say, well, they commissioned for artwork. Well, they commissioned for artwork for the Godzilla lands, right? They're basic lands, same sort of, size in terms of art. They have to pay the artist the same amount, I hope. So, and then they charged $400.
Yep.
So how does that work?
That's the reason we're sort of talking about it and hoping that we can, I guess, I don't want to sound patronizing and say educate our customers, because I don't see this as a reason for us to go, oh, hold on, okay, guys, you need to know this. Our goal, myself and Chris, is not to sound like the professor. Our goal here is to say, here's this really cool thing that has just gone so deep off the rail. We actually had a little bit of an impromptu debate after Chris's Friday stream, because someone actually asked me a question. Can't remember what the question was, but it wasn't directly to do with Secret Lair, but it triggered that same point of my brain, because it was what I find here constantly happening, and something that you actually clearly pointed out that I had to take note of was, here's a company that has a really cool idea and concept, but if I fail to see how it's not blindingly predatory on the customers themselves, and I fail to see how the customers aren't recognizing this, or if we're this far through the looking glass of a collectible card game that they can just get away with printing money now.
So I think what's sort of a worthwhile out, and this going back to just the Ultimate Secret Lair in particular, right? Because that's the prime example. There's a few others I do want to go through, but this one, for instance, we were allowed to actually sell this as a store. Okay. We received, I believe, 10 from memory.
For the Ultimate Secret Lair?
The Ultimate Secret Lair, right? This was the only one that a shop, I believe, took so far that could have bought from Wizards as well.
Yeah. This was actually in direct response to a lot of the stores going, okay, we understand what a Secret Lair is. How do you plan to move forward with this? We were met with mind your own business. And then when I believe the next 10 drops came out, and we were starting to see that this wasn't not only going to be a regular thing, but there was a clear line of FOMO. It was pressed right around pre-release time. So instead of coming to pre-release or buying the next product, people were just going, I'm going to buy this instead. We felt it. And the reason in specific that we saw Fetchlands reprinted was because the community as a whole actually was reaching the pinnacle of the argument, reprint Fetchlands. We all need that reprint. This was not a meaningful reprint.
No, God no. And what's worthwhile noting with the meaningful bit is we received this product, and I looked at it we got told, hey, do you want to stock this? And my first reaction was, hell no. In essence, because it costed too much, to us to buy, and then in my eyes, selling this product was terrible.
Yeah.
Because we could have sold those 5 singles for a third, I believe, but we actually sold those boxes, right? And telling somebody, hey, And we told when people approach us, hey, we want to buy this, we would tell them, yeah, by the way, you're getting this product. It is gonna cost. There was no hiding how much it costed. I think we sold it for about, I think $500 was it in Australia? Right.
We actually we found out quite quickly that in charging the recommended retail that was going out, or like the suggested retail, we managed to undercut a lot of Australia, and we were having orders from
everywhere,
well outside of Victoria. I
And
think
that
we
was-
even had an order from New Zealand.
and that was still making a profit, right? So
Oh, yeah.
it is this mind blowing sort of thing that people would actually buy this. And what Benny pointed, like, they're getting away with it, and it is very much them getting away with something that they really shouldn't. There should not be this type of product shouldn't really exist. Bottom line is, and now that we have this one, well, actually, fun fact: in a few months' time, you're gonna get Secret Lair Drop 2. And who knows how much that one's going to be. It doesn't have fetch lens. Granted, it has the flip lens, which I'm a big fan of.
Which, yeah, the next ultimate one, yeah.
But
they're also foil instead of non-foil.
Also foil instead of non-foil. And then, well, actually, let's just quickly go through that. Another issue that I have with this product, it's its quality. Right. So before I mentioned when they had, the precedent to this product, which was the Mythic Edition for those boxes, a lot of these products never arrived. Well, these ones, sometimes they arrive 6 months after you order them.
Yeah.
I understand this being a niche thing, right? That's fair, and then they would print to order. But I also think it's a bit unreasonable to ask somebody to wait 6 months for some sort of product that would actually take less time to kickstart an event, a product a lot of the time, and in 6 months actually get that board game for the most part, while this colossal manufacturing owned by Hasbro, right, this is their gig. It takes them 6 months to deliver something of poor quality. What do I mean by poor quality? A lot of these cards look bad. A lot of these cards you can't actually play in a deck because how bad their curling is. If you bought the foil one, they curled backwards harder than the Commander Legends ones, if you have one of those. To the point that if Benny showed up with the Serum Visions, if they were foil, to a tournament, I wouldn't let him play. Which is why they're still sealed for Benny.
Yeah, I'm genuinely concerned to take him out. And I kind of want to take him out to put him in a sleeve, but as I've learnt with Commander Legends, that didn't actually save all of those Commander Legend cards.
And to wait 6 months for a product that it is there for the most part for aesthetics, for them not to look great, because again, there's been some inking issues, for them to curl, for them to take 6 months.
It's actually just, it's not okay. And
And then you have to pay a premium, because you have to pay. This is a premium product, right? You're paying an additional thing to get this.
Yeah.
I find that to be an issue. I also find it to be an issue that, and again, this is the biggest issue I have. I don't like the word unfair, but it is unfair, and it's not just for a manufacturing company to directly sell their products.
Yeah, I guess what could be a very broad and very comparative example.
A very good example would be...
Let's take Coke, for example.
Yeah, I was going to say Coke as well. Like, you cannot go to the Coca-Cola factory and buy the bottle for 50 cents and then shortcut like a supermarket which will sell it to you for $1.20. That doesn't happen. If you go to the Coca-Cola factory to buy Coke, it actually costs you $1 or $1.02. You don't go to the manufacturer expecting to get it for cheaper, even though it does cost them less. That is not the point.
Yeah. What's happening is they're just circumventing the established routes of sale, and businesses and collectors and things like this that have built their lives around it, whether it's Games Laboratory or another local game store, or even just collectors who have supported and gotten to know people. This directly, it's not so much a direct attack against it, it's more just a blatant, ignorant sort of brush aside manner of, look, I don't want to buy all of Wizards crap anymore. I'm quite done with it. I've been very, very vocal to you, Chris, about releases coming out, and I've even actually just started saying no to a lot of things where you've said to me, you should order this, and I'm like, nah, I'm just not going to. You really should. I don't care. There's too much going on, right? So deep down, I can't afford to stock all of this stuff. But if you are a company working 2 years ahead of time with an aggressive FOMO policy, with strict deadlines, watching your own stores line up in your own queues, pay a markup price on top of that to then resell at a higher value, something's gone wrong. Something really far and large has gone wrong. My comparison when I saw your note here for history and origin was from the vaults, and in conversations with you told me that they didn't go very well. The foiling was different. There's a lot of parallels here, but these were products that were sold through the stores, but they weren't directly and brazenly in front of you sold like that. You didn't have to encourage community engagement and activity on a Friday using a program where the splash screen said buy Secret Lair or buy from the vault.
Yeah. So, the fact is, if it was a different sort of game, right, where it was a company that would release a product and then all of a sudden now they sell it themselves, maybe that would be okay. But this is also a company that has set out themselves to support local game stores, right? This is the company that has established, the WPN, which is Play Network, the Play Network Premium. They've done all these things historically to encourage people to form a community, to form a shop, and to engage and sort of do this kind of business. Because you could say, well, Benny, you're just being a whiny loser because you have a shop and now you're being undercut. That's not true. The fact is that they've developed their own system and now they're breaking it.
Yeah.
Themselves with no good reason except for we want to make more money, and that's fine. Look, you want to make money, that's okay. I understand. We're not the naive.
There's no repercussion as well.
Yeah. Well, the repercussion would be that eventually the system that actually drove those people to actually spend money, which was not the Wizards marketing team, I can tell you that much. Yeah. It is not the cool trailers that have gotten better over the years. It is not their comic books. It is not their web series. It's actually going to see Benny and ask him, hey, which card do you like? When Benny doesn't exist anymore, which a few secret layers on the track, maybe he doesn't, because he'll crack it. Then you won't see that drive again. So it is, in the long run, I strongly believe it's hurting themselves. And again, there's been a few things that I don't like from the secret layer that, again, abuse from the promises sort of gave us. So again, I want to reiterate, there was a cool promise that I saw in Secret Lair, which was a cool art, experimental stuff. There was no real pressure to get, and all those things to me don't exist anymore. Nowadays we have things like the AMC Walking Dead cards.
Before we touch upon that, because that is going to be a whole can of worms. I actually, while you were talking, I brought up a couple of Secret Lairs that came out in the 40 that you saw.
Yep.
And just as a fun experiment, I'm going to name out 4. And I just want your honest opinion, and feel free to lie, but I'd love to know if
I'll try not to.
You actually remember these ones being announced or even coming out. Because even as a collector, if I wanted these are 4 in particular that I just don't remember seeing anything for.
I'll try.
And as a collector, and that shift from no pressure became to, well, you've missed out, were these 4 in particular.
All right.
So I'll start off with a simple one that I have heard of after the fact. The ornithological studies with
that's the Swan Song Gilded Goose. Yeah, I remember that one.
Yep. What about the Showcase Zendikar foil?
Showcase Zendikar foil. My guess is gonna be Showcase Zendikar foils. Showcase Zendikar. Full art lands from Zendikar.
Nope.
Okay.
They were a collection of really random cards, in my opinion.
Like what?
featuring the Zendikar showcase in foil.
Like what?
Admonition Angel, Royal Elemental, Zulaport Cutthroat, Warren Instigator, and Avenger of Zendikar.
I can't even picture what those look like.
Came out a week before the release of Zendikar Rising.
All right, no, I don't remember that one.
What about Box of Rocks?
Box of rocks. Was it just a box full of rocks?
In Magic sense, yes. Do you remember?
What is it, like Soul Ring, Mana Vault? I don't know.
Nah, those weren't in it.
I don't know. What the hell is
This
that?
was Command Sphere, Gilded Lotus, Arcane Signet, Chromatic Lantern, and Dark Steel Ingot.
I don't remember this.
And what about Can You Feel with a Heart of Steel?
Can you feel with Heart of Steel? No. Right.
This one in particular I actually brought up because I remember doing a draft on MTGO for Games Laboratory, and I saw one of these cards and was like, whoa, where did that art come from? And I had my friend next to me say, that's from a Secret Lair. And I was like, really? And he's like, yeah, I missed it, and I really, really like that card, and now I can't get it. And it was Arcbound Ravager, Darksteel Colossus, and Walking Ballista.
I don't. Oh, yes, I do remember. Okay, that one I do remember. That's exactly the point that what you pointed out. It's like now you missed it. It's gone.
Yep.
So the first few times, it's a cool new thing, and you're on top of it because there's only 5-7 that came out. And 40 down the track, right? Benny just remember 4. I have no idea. I didn't know what the hell they were. And the thing is, if you wanted to, let's imagine, okay, I missed the set release of, Innistrad, right? I didn't play Innistrad Air. That was almost 10 years ago now, right? I could still, hunt down a box for, a premium, right? Like I would pay more, but it wouldn't be that extraordinary considering it's 10 years old.
Yeah.
These things that have been alive for less than 2 years will cost you sometimes 5 times more than what you would have paid for.
Yeah.
I can guarantee you that the Bitter Blossom one was released, costed $40 I want to say. $39.99. I think that costs about $85 now.
Yeah.
Something like that. And the fact is that the no pressure thing, it doesn't exist anymore. When I wrote no pressure, I put comma, I guess, because now there is a pressure to, if you want to collect stuff, you gotta get in there, and then you gotta hope that the product arrives. Then you gotta hope it arrives, in decent quality, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And then you also
on top of a gamble. Will it show up, and will it be collectible?
Yeah, and then you have things that, and so that's an abuse on the cool art and the no pressure bit, and then you have there's an abuse on the experiment. Look, I am all for cool Magic crossovers. I've never said not to. Like, for example, I'm a big fan of the Godzilla cards that came out in Ikoria. Why? Because they did not interfere with the game, in the sense that, for example, any of the Godzilla cards, that was just a cool version of the actual card.
Yeah.
Like
I can agree with this, and I'll just for reference, from day one for Ikoria, I loved the fact that Godzilla cards existed. I loved the fact that companions was a thing. The idea of companions was great. The execution was poor.
I'm not a big fan of companions for different reasons than Benny, but I was always and when Godzilla cards got announced, there was a backlash. Like anything, life, not everyone's gonna like everything. That's okay. But what I really enjoyed was, even if you didn't like the Godzilla cards, you didn't have to play with them, because they were just an alternative version with the name Godzilla, Mecha Godzilla, whatever. Or you could just play the Crystalline Colossal, same card, different art, do the exact same thing. The Mecha Godzilla, for example, on the bottom will actually say the name of the actual card, because it is acknowledging that it's an add-on or a cute thing.
Yeah.
I like when Magic does references to pop culture, for example. Like there's a Legends card called Axelrod Gunnarsson. What do you think that is? It's right. I don't dismiss when they have cute references, because that is it is imaginative to make references to things. To allude to things is, in essence, to be creative. That's okay. It's not copying. It's not just blandly putting something in there.
Yeah.
And what Benny stopped me was when you have things like the AMC The Walking Dead, where you actually have Rick from The Walking Dead, when you have Michonne from not an illusion, not like a cool planeswalker that if you know that it's actually Michonne from The Walking Dead. No, it's just they actually have the name. You have Glenn, who is a white blue card, and when they ask the creators why is he white blue, he looks white. Like it's just, and then you got a zombie token. You know what? The zombie token is the only one I forgive because that makes sense, right? Because it just, but they're just straight up the introduction of something that I truly dislike, right?
Yeah, we got a set of very pushed. Remember that pressure, the no pressure thing that's gone. It's now if you miss out, you miss out.
You don't get it.
And especially when you're widely told that here is a set of exclusive cards with exclusive art and exclusive mechanic. You can't open these in any set.
Nothing.
You can't open these ever. They went back and forth, and we got a secret lair that actually had an impact in formats. This wasn't a set of really safe cards, which still would not be okay. But the fact that they were even playable, or even you needed 4 of this card, you needed 1 of this, if you wanted to remain competitive, was just.
That's the fact, right? A lot of these others were reprints, right? You don't need these. They were unique, right? Because they collaborated with Walking Dead. So there's a unique sort of cards that you need to. For example, Rick Harrison, which is the white card, it's actually really good. Like actually, really good card. And if I was playing mono white in Commander, I would want that to be my commander. I can only get this card if I purchase this product, and I can only play this card as a character from a different IP.
Yep.
Which, if you like The Walking Dead and you like Magic, power to you, right? Look, I don't like that kind of forced crossover, because then it lends to, well, what happens when they want to do Harry Potter cards in Magic? What happens when they want to do Star Wars in Magic? Because, for example, in Kaldheim, there's an allusion to a Star Wars portrait, the iconic portrait from the 4th movie. Return. That's really cool. I like that. That is cool. Having Michonne, Glenn, or whatever, I don't actually know their names, appear in my Commander game. Look, you may say, well, that's just you being nitpicky, Chris. Sure, but what happens when you have a My Little Pony card? What happens when you have an Autobot card?
Well, okay, we did have those.
We did have them. That's my point.
Was the standard. The standard was, here is a set of cards, and they were silver bordered, right? Yeah. We have My Little Pony cards that are mechanically unique and very collectible still, and they exist as a purpose to cross the 2 franchises together, to give the Magic player who likes Walking Dead this thing, to give the Magic player who likes My Little Pony or Autobots this thing. The difference here was that they were not silver bordered. These were legal in play. And while you could argue that it was made for Commander because there's 1 of each, that's not the only format that exists. And Legacy tournaments showed placings with these, and it became very, very clear that people needed this card to remain competitive. And it was right in the face. And I worry because I feel like this got glazed over, but there was a podcast at the start of the announcement for this particular secret lair, and they flat out said, well, if it's a bad idea, no one will buy it. That
attitude that they've had is like, well, if you don't like it, you don't have to buy it. That doesn't fly, right? That's sort of like, if it's bad, people won't buy it. That's not how this works anymore, right? Like, sure, you could say that, but you're also selling a product. The Walking Dead one, I know for a fact a lot of Magic players didn't actually buy that one. It's actually the most sold secret lair, Benny.
Yep.
Because they had the name Walking Dead, and the Walking Dead was like, oh, this is cool. It's a new thing, right? More memorabilia, right? So it was the most sold thing. So that tells them, all right, we're going to do it again. Even though they have a backlash of the people who actually finance this sort of experiments. So,
yeah.
And then you have, well, if you don't like it, don't buy it. Well, you made this for people who don't actually like your things to be bought.
Yeah.
So you can, and then it has happened over and over again. It's like, well, you guys said it was bad, but actually it was really good. So I think you guys were wrong. And we've had a few, of how we were wrong as a customer, and then them being correct as a supplier because they made all this bank.
Yeah, they spent an hour and a half in a podcast after the fact, counting their money, and legitimately took a victory lap around us, going, "Well, looks like it wasn't a bad idea. That was our biggest selling secret lair, top one." I would like to note, I actually have a dear friend, a close friend, who is a big Walking Dead fan, but they also very much saw the exclusivity of this. Hadn't actually seen the whole Secret Lair ball. Bought 4, offered one to me, and I said no, thank you. Then waited, and a month later, after the release, offered one to me again with a markup. Said no, thank you. And has been trying to flip these. So
And look, you could say like, well, that's good on them, and it is good on them, right? But when you have products that basically just, well, a lot of people exist just for that, I see an issue, right? When I said the example of the insert box, right? That insert box now costs more because it was a cool draft set and it's old, hence it's costing more money. When it was printed, it wasn't printed with that intention. We know a lot of people who, Benny, you yourself, you keep a lot of boxes. It's like having them sealed. One day you may draft them, one day you might sell them. Who knows, right? But you didn't keep them with the intent of making big buck at the end of the day.
no.
And a lot of people do stock boxes and they expect to sell them for a markup, but not to. They didn't buy out, or they didn't go out there specifically to buy 4 of these to immediately try to sell a month later. And that's what's happening with the Secret Lair stuff. People will buy these 4 or 5, spend $50 to $40 each, so let's say $300 a piece, and then try to remake their money back and sell it for twice or 3 times the money.
Yeah,
And
I think the main concern here is, and again, we're really trying to balance ourselves because you and I both work for a game store and help run it. Is when we're not trying to be the old men shouting at clouds, where it's really unhealthy for a game or a business or a model to have this short, bloated secondary market that you end up with a bunch of people who, let's take the inexperienced, right? They take this flip, they make a few extra bucks, get really invested and go, cool, I'm going to reinvest that. Next thing you know, they've bought a bunch of Magic cards that they have no idea about. Value goes down on them, or they're sitting on them for way too long because suddenly they're invested in a collector's card game that actually doesn't see the short-term increase that they've actually bounced on, and they financially have put themselves out. They now have a sour taste for Magic. They're upset with the community, they're upset with the game, and they're just bitter in general. That's what you're going to breed here, pushing this fear of marketing, this exclusivity, and this secondary market. And the biggest thing that Wizards is doing, that a company should not be allowed to do and should not be doing from any angle, and it's not even a joke, it's not a meme anymore. They have not only recognized, but they're pointing at the secondary market and saying, this card will be expensive, you pay more.
That's not how this, like, again, that's not how this works. Cards, okay, in a collectible, cards are only expensive because they need to be they see play, or they have cool art and whatnot. When you're the manufacturer, you cannot really manipulate that, because the moment you start doing that, whatever economy that was built up around your own game crumbles.
Yeah.
When you are a company, you want to build up hype. Sure, you don't reprint fetch lands for 5 years, you print them again, you're gonna make more buck. That happened in Counter-Strike here, right? When they reprinted the Winds of Heath, the Allied Color fetch lands.
Yeah.
That is different from them putting in a Secret Lair.
It's very different because it wasn't recognized as a premium thing. It was just put into the set. And their argument of, well, we don't want to add fetch lands to this format, whether it's standard or for whatever reason, they've now provably shown in more ways than one for the new sets and the new distribution methods with what they've currently laid out. They can put non-standard cards in standard products. We've seen it in list cards. We're about to see it in the next set with showcase Mystical Archives masterpieces, which are in
Whatever you wanna
every
call them.
single draft pack.
Yep. So again, I want to, if Secret Lair remained this cool, so experimental, so cool art things, the cards that, my favorite example is the snow-covered lands, the kaiju lands. These are basic lands. They cost you $20, and if you bought them, good on you, right? Or I could get my 5-cent land that does the exact same thing, but yours look cooler. That's okay. Right? You want to buy the expensive Life from the Loam one, which actually costs you about the same as mine. That is still, reasonable. But there is a reasonable way of doing this thing. When you start printing things that you can only get in Secret Lair, when you start printing things that everyone wants desperately, and you will mark up more price for that. When you print things that you can, again, things that are inaccessible beyond, except for this pathway only, that's when you create this sort of sour taste. Not now. Okay, I don't think you'll notice it now. A lot of people will still be happy, like for example, if you see on an auction site or online to see, a Secret Lair for, let's say, $20 more, you found it. Right? But then let's say another year down the track, okay, another 20 of these pop out. What happened to the first 5? Well, the first 5 were now, instead of costing $40, they cost $120.
Yeah.
And
I can give another example of this quite recently, because from the perspective of exactly what this product should be from our eyes, like if we were to advocate for Secret Lair, it would be under the bravado that it's experimental and niche reprints that are just, that come and go as they please, but without drowning the market and then, I guess, sort of poking fun at you because you missed it. You're like, oh, you missed out on that one, tough, it's never coming back. Like they actively say this after every single release. The Seeing Visions one, the one that I bought because the art was gorgeous and I just loved the idea, I bought was, to correct myself from earlier, $30. 30 US, I might add, right? The postage way and far over, but that has more
that's
to
a
do with
different
us
story.
being
That's our
Australian.
fault for living in Australia.
The next one I saw, and this should come as no shock to anyone, was the Every Dog Has Its Day. This started at $40 US and is more expensive if you wanted the foil versions. The Seeing Visions one was just foil. It already was foil. It just was. But if I want the cool doggo arts on these random cards, and I still don't know the reason for picking these particular cards, but that's another argument entirely. It doesn't matter. It's going to cost me double the price because fuck me, I guess.
And that's the other thing. Like, there's no, because they can make whatever price they want. We don't know how much they actually cost.
Exactly.
And I don't know. An easy solution would be like, well, Chris, do you hate this a lot? No, because for example, if they said, all right, a lot of people liked the Bitter Blossom one, we'll do second wave. You actually, a lot of people seem to like this. Let's do it again for the same price.
I guess the way you could mitigate this, and first of all, 1/3 of the amount of releases. There does not need to be 40 Secret Lair drops in a year. That's wild. That blows my mind. And we saw the joke from the professor recently of, here's one, blah blah blah, and then bang, 5 more straight on top of it. Actually, a week before that particular one came out, just crammed down your throat. You miss out, doesn't matter. I hope you weren't saving money for the charity one, because that one doesn't come out until next week. And
the charity stuff. God.
Anyway, moving on from that, 1/3 of them, they don't need to be forcing this many down into our throats. The next thing they should do is they should go, this Bitter Blossom one was received really, really well and really encouraged. They own that artwork. They own the artwork for the tokens. Don't tell me the company doesn't, because that's a lie. Just put it in the product. Make that a list card. Like, why not?
I think what's the point that we're trying to drive across is that there's no mistakes in what they've done so far. From their perspective, they know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly what they could do to fix what in my opinion, and probably Benny's as well, was very obvious. What's going to lead to bad news bears, sort of things. Because how do I know that they know this? Because this company's been alive for 20. They've been making this game for 27 years. Right? They know their ballpark. They know their game. And what's happened is that they realize that we can just make more and more money. And that's so far so true. But it also means that less people want to play the game. And how do I know this? Well, we don't know, there's no physical shop at the moment, but
you and I have both seen a lot of our friends and our Facebook groups that we're franchised in for Magic the Gathering checking out of their higher end stuff. And these are people that we know are invested in the game, not just from a monetary standpoint. They're cashing out.
People tap out. The thing is, okay, and I think I said it before, the average Magic lifespan of a Magic player is 2 years. A Magic player will become a franchise for a year, play a lot, after then we'll drop it. This is not the people we're talking about. We're talking about people who've been enjoying this game for 3+ years, 5 years, maybe even a decade, right? For a long time. They know that prices go up and down, and irrespective of this, they still want to play the game. These are the people who are checking out now because they've had enough.
Yeah,
and
they can't.
And you may say, well, Secret Lair is not to blame for that. Well, not solely, but the Secret Lair to me reflects a lot of the spirit of what the company is telling us at the moment, which is, well, tough. You don't like it, don't like it.
Yeah.
Which that is not the case. Or that wasn't the case. What I'm trying to drive at. It used to be that this was a game that needed people to play the game. When the people were not happy with the game, bannings would happen, or preprint policy were put in place. The reserve list was made because players complained. Right? You may think you have your own opinions of the reserve list. Nowadays, this game seems to be existing without people playing it. I don't know how that's a thing. I don't know how that's a sustainable thing, but it seems to me that people are playing a game that you cannot play with.
Yeah.
And Secret Lair is in part to blame for that, because it's driving up prices, and it's not just the cards that in Secret Lair are the cards that are also useful with Secret Lair cards that are becoming more expensive. And then, well, what happens with all the cards that you can't get anymore? Well, let's also buy those. Why? Well, people seem to be buying anything nowadays. And it's repercussing this way that collections go up in value, and you run into this problem where, like, well, what happens with people who have a house near the shore when the sea level goes up? Well, they'll sell it, surely. To whom? Who do you sell those houses to when the sea level goes up?
Yep.
So yeah. Bottom line is, I think Secret Lairs could have been a really cool thing.
Yeah, agreed.
I think they still could, in the sense that they could still just print cool. They could give it to a store. There's.
I still like the theory I came up with. If you recognize that something like The Walking Dead or Bitter Blossom or something is doing well, that should be the list. Put it in one of the multiple slots that they can stuff stuff in. Collector boosters have that slot for an ancillary card. Instead of giving me one of your commander deck cards in your fancy ass thing, right? Give me one of the Secret Lair cards. In the set boosters, why does the list contain Army of Ants and not Serum Visions, the skeleton art?
Who knows? The bottom line is, I think this will become more apparent when we'll do another Magic podcast about something else down the track, because we like Magic. Like, again, we only say these things because we like the game, right? This is not us telling us don't play Magic. This is not us telling us go buy Secret. Look, if you like a thing from Secret Lair, go buy it. Go nuts. I'll never shame somebody for having a Secret Lair card in their deck, except if it's curled and I know they're cheating. That's a different story. But the point being is that I really like to play this game, and I hate seeing things like this which make people stop or not want to play the game.
Yeah,
because of a reason that is outside.
The only way we can continue to play this game is with people who play it.
Yeah,
I can't play with someone who collects it and knows nothing about the game.
This is this sort of sub game which is not the point.
Yeah,
in my eyes, and again, we said it before. It's a collectible card game, right? It's all three parts have to play equally. The game has to be fun, the collecting has to be fun, and the cards have to look good.
That's it.
At this stage, it looks like the collective part is winning.
That's the only thing that's winning. And just to add to that, to really drive home the point that we still very much love this game, I believe Chris and I today actually pre-ordered our own Time Spiral remastered boxes, because when we found out there wasn't going to be a print, we went, oh, all right.
Look, the thing is that we still grab our boxes. We still want to. We still believe in the game that we grew up playing.
Yeah.
And that's why it's a bit painful to see things like that, which would have been really cool for the game, but are clearly not. These secret layers are not meant to be played with in a lot of ways. They're fitting a different portion of the market, which I sincerely no longer understand.
Collecting and reselling.
Collecting and reselling is not.
That's
has always been
game, but that's all these are for.
Yeah, it has always been a part of the game, but not to this extent.
Yeah.
And hopefully that never kills the game part.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look good.
Anyway.
That being said, we look forward to Time Spiral. I'm always curious to see what Secret Lair comes out. Maybe they change how they do things. Some good things do come out of this, like they do some charity events for this, like they have done. The latest one was, we did talk about it last time, they did the Black Magic one.
Yep.
Still going on. You can still buy that. Allegedly all the money is the 50-50, or is it all the money?
50-50.
Okay, so let me quickly go through that one.
Yep. So it does cost you more money, but 50% of it goes to the charity.
So there's some good things that, you know, I'm always for giving money to charity. In this case, you get a cool product if you pay double the price, which I don't understand why. Also keeping in fact that you can always donate money to charity itself. Right?
Yep.
You don't need to, you know, put this. Also remember that whenever a company, you know, has the donations up and you have to give them the money, that's a tax write-off for them, so actually make more money. Always remember that bit. Fun facts on legislation there. But look, some positive things to come out of it. Like I don't know, respect the Black Magic one. Donating any amount of money will help, and you also get cool cards. Sure, the art is weird. They did the one for what was the other one they did? The
Extra Life 2020.
The Extra Life one, again, good cause. I still don't understand why we have to pay double, but look, good cause nonetheless. I wish they did a few more things like that looked less predatory in my eyes.
Yeah. I would that's another thing that I would love Secret Lair to just exist as, is just a charity driven exclusive reprint art thing.
That seems nice. That's a nice gesture. It cost them nothing to do these things.
Yeah. It cost them the price of the art and then the cardboard.
And we all know how much money the artists really get. It's not a lot.
We actually reached out to a particular Magic the Gathering artist for our new playmat, so we're hoping to hear back from them. Cross fingers.
We'll see.
That's a nice teaser for everyone in the future.
Yeah.
Come in the same amount of time it takes you to get a Secret Lair from the States.
Well, anyway, we'll end up there. As usual, the tip or message, I should just saying, guys, go buy stuff from your local game store. This time I want to say, guys, go play the game if you can, wherever you can, with a friend, even online. Buying cool things is cool. Playing them is even better.
Yeah.
Enjoy the things you can purchase if you can. If you're collecting things, show it to your friends, right? Do the interactive bit, not just like, oh, this is worth $20 and I can resell it for 100.
That's it.
Okay, that's good on you. There's a bit more to being a nerd and collecting things than just trying to make money out of it.
And subscribe to our podcast. We have a podcast.
We are on all the cool things. Spotify, SoundCloud, our own website, gameslaboratory.com.au, where you can find our stuff to buy and play with. All right, that's the important bit. All right, we want you to play more games.
Yeah. Next week we get to talk about something I've actually been looking forward to the last couple of weeks. I've been pushing it back because we've had topics sort of coming up in a string, which made more sense. But
is it
I want
Pokemon?
to finally talk about painting, miniature painting, and board game painting.
Painting, right? Painting, not Pokemon. Painting, different P word. Yeah, Benny has been dying to talk about painting in general. Fun fact is, my experience with painting was getting drunk and painting a big dinosaur with flowers. And that was in our birthday once.
Oh yeah, no, I'm happy to put that in there and talk about that as well. Painting in general is actually really cathartic, and I actually went to the same thing you did,
Yeah.
and I'd love to talk about that. That was great.
No, so
But yeah,
painting.
we're going to talk about painting, specifically, maybe a little bit of techniques and sort of paints and things and tips, why you might want to paint your game, why you might want to avoid it, and maybe just where you can find paints. Because if you're trying to dive into this, even personally speaking, I had no idea where I could go other than maybe a Games Workshop. But there's heaps more places out there.
And it could also be expensive. You can collect paints. You can buy the really old ones and sell them for more, probably.
Oh, you can collect paints. That's easy. You can collect anything.
Yeah, you can. Anyway, we'll talk about painting and the fun of painting and actually doing cool things with it. Maybe, I don't know.
All right.
Maybe Benny will post something cool online. What is his latest endeavors?
All right.
We'll leave it up there. I hope we give you something to think about for Secret Layers. Hopefully it wasn't all bad. Again, there's some good of it. There's just a lot that you have to complain about. But I hope it was fun a little bit. Remember to go home, tell your friends about us, play a game, and yes.
Bye.
Bye. We did it, Benny.
We did it.
Secret Lair.
Told you, hour and 13 minutes.
Well, not really, because the podcast is probably like an hour and 5 minutes.
Still managed an hour.
Look, Secret Layers is complicated.
It really is. I hadn't even thought of those bloody mythic editions. You were right.
I know I'm right.
I hadn't even thought of those. All right, I gotta go.
Gonna die?
Yeah, I gotta go.
Oh, we were lucky.
Why?
We said in general. I just realized. Oh, I would have been so pissed. Oh, I would have cracked it at whoever would have logged in and ruined my recording.
Noel just logged in as you said bye. Don't worry, Noel. It's a podcast. You can listen to it back. You can even watch this VOD back.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Well, I'm doing the editing for the episode right now because I recorded live, so I have to do very little things with it.
Yeah, but like if you can't wait for the podcast to be uploaded, you can. This VOD goes up straight away.
Fact. Straight up fact. Ah.
Yeah, I'm keen for next week. Painting. Actually, I really need to set up that other camera in here so I can do some painting on Games Lab stream. Maybe I could do that from Monday instead of reading a book.
And Pokemon is fun as well.
Yeah, but that's your thing, and I don't want you to have to work Mondays.
Lock.
Air quotes work, you know what I mean.
That fucking hood almost killed me. So cool. I love that Bellsprout.
Did you get my message? Because I genuinely went back and watched the VOD.
Yeah, I beat the gym. It was pretty easy.
Yeah. The gym looked so easy, but there was one guy with a hoot that almost actually KO'd one of your team members.
Oh, my Bellsprout.
Like, flying strong against grass. Bellsprout's like limping, one leaf hanging off.
Nigel.
Poor Nigel.
I'll try not to grind as much. I feel like that made it a bit easy.
I think you're inherently going to stop yourself from grinding. I don't feel like you really paused anywhere to grind, if that makes sense.
No,
you were still progressing.
I want to see the Bellsprout tower.
Just keep doing what you were doing. I don't think there's much cause for you to stress about that. Because eventually you will just come across someone and they will just knock you out.
Oh, and then have to start again. Oh,
yeah. Wait until you reach a trainer that starts just max healing every turn.
Oh, fun times.
Yo. All right, I gotta go.
All right. Bye, Benny.
All right. Thank you, stream. Hi,
anyone who's listening,
bye.
thank you for listening. I hope to see you tomorrow for magics and stuff like that. All right, I'll see you all soon. Bye.